As the kids say, sometimes people get me messed up, but they don't say messed up. I want to take a moment to clarify something about this space, about this newsletter, both on Substack and on LinkedIn. Qualified at the Intersection is written from the perspective of an African American woman in the United States. That's the frame. It is no more or no less than that. Now, I say that because I am not a Black woman from the Caribbean. I am not Afro Latina. I am not Asian American. And obviously, I'm not a white woman. I am an African American woman whose family originates in slavery in the United States. And I'm writing about race and the workplace from that vantage point, a lens shaped by the unique, unfinished history of Black life in America. Now, that doesn't mean I don't look at other indicators. I don't look at other races. That's not true. But I believe when we focus on issues impacting Black people, everybody wins. But history shows that, well, the opposite is in fact not true. So you see, when white women fought for and won the right to vote, Black women were left behind. We weren't included. When feminism rose, it often centered white women's perspectives and needs, not ours. And when we look at reparations in the United States, we've had and continue to have reparations. When Japanese Americans rightly received reparations for internment, no one paused to say, well, we're only going to give it to them if Black people get reparations too and are made whole from slavery. Nobody said that. But if Black Americans ever receive reparations, I can guarantee you a check you can take to the bank that the question will immediately become, who else deserves them too? You see, this is a pattern. Every time Black people win, everybody wins. That's the nature of how it happens. Every time someone else wins, well, Black people do not win. We are frequently left behind. You know, from birthright citizenship, which is the reason almost everyone watching here is a citizenship, it was created to make the formerly enslaved whole citizens of this country. Yes, it was later extended to others, including an Asian man who rightfully challenged his exclusion, but it didn't exist without our fighting for it. Civil rights laws were designed to redress centuries of harm to Black Americans, and yet those same laws expanded to include nearly everyone else. Now, I'm not saying others didn't deserve and don't deserve rights. I'm saying remedies for others never expand to include us, but our remedies expand to include everyone else. I mean, you could look at the data. The biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action, well, people have heard this before, it is white women. And the biggest beneficiaries of almost every civil rights victory we have had that we've fought for, bled for, died for, have been others, including South Asians who come to the United States as a result of civil rights, while many don't see themselves connected to it at all. We frequently stay out of the circle of repair. And still the myth persists that Black people get everything, that our voices are the loudest. We speak out, we show up. Because of that, people think we are overrepresented, when in truth, we are undercompensated, underprotected, and yet overexposed. That's the truth. And so that's why I focus on the African American experience. Because if we don't speak for ourselves, our needs get diluted in everyone else's story. But by us winning, other groups win. Now, other groups talk about feeling erased when Black people speak about themselves first. They talk about erasure. Well, look, we live with dismissal. We are told to be inclusive of others, even when our needs are rarely included. And when we are talking about ourselves, we are dismissed. Too much talking about yourself. We are talking about triage here. If we're deciding who's been hardest hit, we have to name who's still bleeding. Native Americans and African Americans are two groups most consistently and long-term wounded in this country by the architecture of white supremacy. That doesn't mean others haven't been, but it does mean the depth of harm matters. You know, when you talk about triage, you say, well, a gunshot wound and a broken leg are not the same injury. I got to look at the gunshot wound before I get to the broken leg, right? So this is what this newsletter is. It is not exclusionary, but it is focused. It is not about a hierarchy of pain, but it is about truth telling about what it means for Black Americans, right? Just a perfect example. Black people, Black Americans have been warning white people and other people of color about how white supremacy operates in this country for generations. We have been ignored. We have been told we are lazy, we are shirkers, all kind of things. But now everyone's in the line of fire. And they're like, oh, clutching their chest. So understand this clearly. I am for everyone's salvation. I am for everyone winning. But I'm also unapologetically for everybody Black.